So I'm Cal Van Dalen. I'm a technical marketing engineer here with Aerohive. And you guys are in luck today. There was a really smart person assigned to this demo. He couldn't make it, so instead you get a good-looking one. So I'm going to try to make some jokes here and there. Please laugh anyway. Most of them are not funny anyway, but it makes me feel better. Yeah. And like we said, Tosh said, OK, I'm going to show you client management. So client management is one of our cloud apps. And what it is an onboarding solution for devices. And you can say, well, that's nothing special. A lot of vendors have it. But we make it really, really, really easy to set up. So because it's cloud, we take most of the difficulty out of it. And I'm going to show you first how I set it up and how it works. And I'll show you a little bit in Hive Manager itself what we did. So I actually set up one of our IPs is running as a radius server. And I have an SSID set up, a 1X one. And I said, OK, I hooked it up to Active Directory. And I got a couple groups. I got a sales group. I got a finance groups. And both have users in them. And I'm going to say, OK, if someone from finance logs into an iPad, we want to onboard that iPad. And we want to say, OK, is this a corporate issue device? Or is it a bring your own device? If it's a corporate issue device, you say, OK, your sales, you can go to Salesforce, for example, but not Facebook. Everybody knows sales, Facebook, productivity goes out the window, right? And then we're going to say, OK, also want some restrictions. We're going to say, OK, if you're sales, we're going to restrict Siri on your iPad. Sales here has been trying to hit on Siri. She never really, whatever that English word is, never actually answered their advances. But we figured, again, productivity goes out of the window. So we'll say, no Siri. But if you're from research, same iPad, for example, and you're on board, and you say, OK, I'm from research. If it's a corporate issue, we're going to say, OK, you're not allowed to go to Salesforce because Salesforce is not something you have to do. Again, not Facebook, but everything else is working. And also for this one, we say, OK, let's disable the camera because maybe as research, you have access to some really sensitive material. We don't want you to make pictures of it and then have your kids email it to their Facebook account or whatever. So we're going to say, OK, we're going to disable that. But for anyone, if it's your own device, if you say, OK, this is my own device, then we're going to say, OK, you can do Facebook, but not Salesforce, and everything else works. And we're going to put some web links on your iPad, so you can go to Aerohive, you can go to Tech Field Day, things like that. So I'm actually going to show you how it's how it works on the iPad. So let's say.
Hold on, the screen's still coming up.
The screen is still coming up. There we go. Yeah, and if there are any questions in between, feel free to stop me. There we go. So like I said, I set up one SSID. So we can set it up with one SSID or two SSIDs. One just using PEEP for the first authentication. Like I said, I hooked it up against Active Directory. So let's say Jane from research comes. She logs in. Password is Aerohive. I'm not going to tell you which capital letters, so you guys won't know anyway. And so we connect the first time. And the first time, since we're using PEEP, our backend actually knows, OK, this is a person who hasn't been onboarded yet. So we actually go and open a web browser and go anywhere. And we're going to get the onboarding page. So the onboarding page, you can customize it. I customize it a little bit. So apparently some people are actually reading it. And here we actually allow the user to say, OK, is it a corporate issue device or a personal device? So right now I'm giving them the choice, right? It's also possible that we say, OK, we'll just import a MAC address list and say, OK, these are corporate issue devices. Then they don't actually get to choose. So you can actually say, OK, I want them to choose or not. So I'm going to say for this one is a corporate issue device. Agree to the terms of use. Also this you can edit, of course. So I did say, for example, if you connect to this network, you will transfer all your cache to me. It's a little bit small for you guys to see. But even more important, if you actually say I agree, you do acknowledge that purple is indeed the most awesome color in the visible spectrum. And if you count ultraviolet, even the invisible spectrum, unless, of course, you're a mantis shrimp, then it's still in the visible spectrum. But I digress. So I'll say I agree. And then I'm just going to go enroll the device, right? And the Blues Brothers said it best with enrolling. They go like enrolling, rolling, rolling, enrolling, rolling, rolling, enrolling, rolling, rolling, arrive! I'm sorry, my voice acting has been off a little bit. Sorry, I had to do a plug for Jenny. Monster.
Okay. Monster calms him down.
Yeah.
There we go. So now, as you can see, we're going to check the network to actually change what's a little bit fast. And we're actually going to redirect to wherever you said you want them to redirect. And the cool thing about this is no user intervention needed after this. For a lot of other ones, they say, OK, you're now connected. You still have to click and go to the SSID or something, or it doesn't forward you.
That's a great
we
website. I really enjoy that one.
It's my homepage. I go there every day, 6 times a day, just before lunch. After lunch, about 3 to 4 times.
He'd like you to change the aqua to purple, though.
Yeah. I'm working on that. So, but yeah, so we got forwarded. So I say, OK, this is Jane. Jane is research. So we have some restrictions here. So as you can see, we pushed a profile called research, including an enrollment profile and the configuration for Wi-Fi. And for research, you can see for the restrictions, we say disable camera. Because we said, OK, we don't want actually someone to take pictures of the new chip design or something. So as you can see, there's not even a camera anywhere on the dashboard because it actually got removed. And I'll show you a little bit later that it is there when we removed the profile. I also said if you're research, you won't be able to go to Salesforce. So since that, we have some other people talking about it, about our application visibility and control. So I use this one to block to Salesforce. But of course, you can also say internal servers, say allowed to these servers, those servers, whatever. But yeah, it will time out because she's not allowed.
Hey, Kel.
Yes.
You're Dutch, right?
Sorry?
You're Dutch?
Yes, I am. Very good.
Yeah, you have Dutch fans on Twitter.
I have Dutch fans on Twitter. Woohoo! I don't even have a Twitter account. How is that for a start?
I told him yesterday.
Yeah, so this is Jane. So let's say, OK, what happens if I'm not research, but I'm not finance, sales? So let's just remove what we have right now. And removing. There we go. I'm going to connect again, but this time we're going to say with John. And John is part of sales. There we go. John. Password is Aerohive. Now you might be wondering why it's the same password as Jane. Well, so they actually used today, but then John actually cheated on Jane's sister's mother or something like that. And it's all in Jerry Spring if you want the real backstory, but that's why they have the same password. So now John actually logged in. And since we removed the profile, and that's actually pretty cool. With us, if the profile gets removed, it actually gets removed also in Hive Manager. So you can see right there that they removed it. So let's go again. And of course, we go back. As you can see now, it's the username John. And also the cool thing is, since I'm using 1X, they only have to put it in when they're connected to the SSID. They don't have to put it in here again, right? So again, we're going to say, oh, corporate issue device. Also, John agrees that purple indeed is the most awesome color in the visible spectrum.
Can I just stop you there for 1 second? Sorry. You said when you deleted the profile off of the device, it got deleted on Hive Manager?
Yes.
How did that happen?
If you're connected at that point, when you delete it, it knows.
If you're connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
OK. Enroll my device. I won't do the singing again. I tortured you well enough today.
No more singing?
Damn.
Well, if you want, I can give you I'll give you some extras. I can record something, email it to you. I have no problem with that. I have no problems making a fool out of myself in public or in private. I don't. OK, so we're checking the network. There we go. And now we're being redirected since we are connected. So this one is sales, right? So for sales, we didn't have the restriction for the camera. So as you can see, the camera just got back. So indeed, that works perfectly. We also say sales. Well, if you're sales, we want you to be able to connect to Salesforce. When Jane connected, Salesforce timed out. But now, Salesforce opened. So yeah, so the same iPad, just different profile we got pushed. And again, we can see that the profile that we push is called sales now instead of finance. And of course, you can come up with your own names. If you want to call it, that's perfectly possible. I wouldn't know why, but sometimes that's what I type. Yeah, and here the descriptions, indeed, we said also no installing apps for sales because, again, productivity goes out of the window, and no Siri. OK, so now the last one I want to show you is, OK, what happens if you actually bring your own device? So one more time, let's go and delete the profiles. And what I configured is, doesn't matter if you're sales, doesn't matter if you're research, if you say it's your own device, you're going to get the same profile. But we can actually say, OK, if you're sales and you bring your own device, you get a different profile versus your research and you bring your own device. Versus you're the CEO, then you can do everything. So even for bring your own device, you can still do different profiles depending on the group membership and Active Directory or eDirectory or whatever you're using. So one more time, let's connect. And not sure why my iPad does that, so let's say I'm not actually connected. Always fun, right?
Bound to happen once.
Bound to happen once. There you go. I blame it on Apple.
No.
Oh, no, we don't.
Nobody blames anything on Apple.
Anything I do wrong, he is responsible for, so we blame it on Tosh.
Absolutely.
There you go. So we can say John again. His password did not change, I hope. John is a sneaky bastard. And here we go, and we are connected. So now this time, we go again, and we're going to say, okay, this time I'm going to say it's a personal device. And by the way, who knows what that abbreviation stands for? There you go. What does it stand for?
Oh, Bastard Operator from Hell.
Very good. You're going to get a shirt. Look at that. It's a Wi-Fi shirt. Can you catch?
Yeah, of course.
Can you catch?
There you
I
go.
catch all the time. Come on now.
Yeah, so this time we're going to say it's a personal device. We're going to agree again, because it doesn't matter if it's personal or corporate, you do like purple. And it's scientifically and statistically proven by me. Sample size 1, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we install it again. And again, the same enrollment. It's going to check. Wait, it actually switches, authenticates to the SSID. There we go. I'm going to check the network. So for your own device, you said, okay, you can go to Facebook, no problem. I didn't actually show you that Facebook was blocked for the other two. I forgot about that, but you just have to believe me. But yeah, Facebook, now it's working. Not sure why I have it in Spanish. I was playing around and then I'm pushing buttons, so that's why. Or Italian. There you go.
Gratis.
It's just as foreign for me. Oh, there you go. So what does that mean?
It means you should switch to pirate.
Oh, there we go. Do they have pirates?
Do you have a pirate for the
Okay, well,
Anyway.
we're going off course. And also this time we actually push to web clips, so Aerohive and Tech Field Day. So you can actually say, okay, a nice link, bam, to the Aerohive website, or to the Tech Field Day website. Look at that. So that's the functionality how it's set up. So now I'll actually show you in Hive Manager how easy it is to set up. So actually,
You don't block that for employees?
sorry?
You don't block that for employees bringing their own devices?
You can if you want
Field
to.
day site?
Yeah. So let's go and go here. So now to log in, it's not that I don't trust you, but I actually don't trust you. So let me log in before I reconnect again.
So how are you differentiating the
How did you know my password?
What's Dutch for purple?
Pass.
You've got a sticker on your keyboard, don't you?
How are you differentiating the user once they've had the provision? Is it a certificate?
Yes. Yeah, so the first time when they log in is PEEP, and then afterwards they get permission to use TLS. There we go.
How are you controlling whether it's besides the trusting the user to select the right radio button for corporate or personal? Are you controlling that on the back end that hopefully you're going to show us that says this is limited based off of serial numbers, MACs, something or another?
We can import MACs, and you can say we don't give them the choice. If it's this MAC, it's corporate issued. If it's another MAC, it's a personal device.
Is Mac the only option, so I can sit there and spoof a Mac and
At this point, yes.
Okay.
But the thing is, it doesn't really matter, right? If you get an iPad and we push a policy on there, we're going to be controlling it, right? If you say it's corporate issue, sure, you bring your own one. If you want to pay for your own stuff, we're still going to limit what you can do in there and just keep it to whatever you want to do there. So technically, it doesn't really matter that much for us.
Right, I don't think it matters either. I'm just wondering.
Two, when he demos what we can do with the information that we get from that device, you'll see they likely won't want to do it.
There you go. Yeah, so first of all, I'll show you the Enroll Clients. So here you can actually see which clients are all enrolled, if they're active. I call it my everyone pad since John is using it, Jane is using it, I'm using it. It's not an iPad, it's their pad, it's everyone pad, it's communal, doesn't really matter. And you can show and get some more information about them, including things like which applications are installed, the location, and some of the restrictions you have here. So for setting up, really to just get the onboarding, if you don't care about changing profiles, the only things you need to do is use our certificates on your radio server. So you can either, if you have set up an AP or a switch or BR, as a radio server, use those certificates. Or if you have a third-party one like NPS or Free Radius, just use our certificates there. And then the only thing you need to do on the wireless side is go to the SSID. Oh, that was the wrong one. Go to the SSID and enable this checkbox. With this checkbox, you already have the captive web portal, you have the onboarding, you can push profiles, you can do everything. That's all you need to configure. You don't have to set up a certificate authority backend, the whole PKI structure. You don't have to deploy extra servers for that. That's all that is needed.
Is it using the captive portal on the AP is the same as before, not the one that's in guest manager, ID manager?
It doesn't use the one from ID manager. It actually goes to the cloud for a URL for that.
The portal, so it redirects them to the cloud. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and that's one thing important, because if you have an iOS device, if you have a captive web portal that has not a publicly trusted certificate, the profile will not install. Even if you say, yeah, I'll trust this one, the profile will not install.
I was thinking more in terms of if you're setting that up internally and you need to allow firewall rules to let them to go out to that website.
Yeah.
And that's in the setup guide. We have that detailed.
Yeah, so that's all you need to do to configure. And then if you're already used to our user profiles, we can use those to say, okay, if your sales, this is your user profile if you get. If it's sales and it's a BYO device, you get a different profile. And then, of course, we can do stuff, and I'll show you just what we can do. With the client profiles, we can push those settings. So let's say BYOD one. So you can do a passcode. So if you want to say, okay, they have to have a minimum of 16 characters for the passcode, all those things. We can say, okay, what kind of restrictions do you want to put on there? Allow installing apps, cameras, all the stuff that I'd say, Siri, a lot of things that we can put there. You can add as many web clips as you want. So like I said, I did 2. So the Aerohive one and the Tech Field Day one. You can set up their mail, so the email, the active sync, all that stuff. So you can automatically, if they come with a corporate issue device, bam, do their Exchange server settings.
What client operating systems do you support?
So currently we do iOS and OS X. It's still in, the feature itself is still in beta, so we're still looking for other operating systems.
Is there? I know that with a lot of MDM solutions that are deployed, they have a separate on-site appliance to stick in front of the Exchange server to make sure that the Exchange server is being filtered, that people are using devices that are being registered with the MDM. Are you thinking of any features like that for this?
No, I'll answer that one. That's part of our partnership with AirWatch and also with Jam Software.
Okay.
We have no plans to build another MDM to join that
Okay,
industry.
cool.
This is for onboarding and simplifying, and we want to use it. Actually, I'm happy to talk to you about this afterwards too, but our plans are to collect more and more information about the connected clients so we can continue to make the network work better.
There you go. And then some advanced settings. It's like VPN and LNAP settings. So, and this concludes this demo. Are there any questions?
Yep, quick question.
Sure.
And all of this comes with no additional licenses as always, right?
No, it will actually be licensed as a separate product.
For the first 100 devices, this is free. So you can check it out, try it out. It will be those 100 devices. You can try out if you want to participate in the beta today. Feel free to do that. You can either open a support case or you can email us at acm.beta@aerohive.com and we'll enable your accounts to support this.
And then just for context, is this the first time you've licensed anything like this? This is new, right, or no?
Well, if you know, actually, so
No, it's not.
that is a good question, and apparently we needed to brief you guys on client management, and we will plan for that. But What we're doing here is actually giving you the ability to manage clients the same way that you're currently using Hive Manager to manage your access points, routers, and switches. So we're giving you one more type of device that you can now manage and selling it as that type of license. So same way that you buy licenses in order to manage devices, you're now buying a device license for clients.
And completely voluntarily, but still we would like to, you can give all your money to me when you use it. But that's completely voluntarily, so it's...
He's got the money.
Oh, there we go.
Talk to Moneybags there.
Any more questions?
Point at me and say that?
Maybe.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Nice demo.
Okay, well, thank you.
But Tech Field Day's seen this same type of thing before.
Okay.
What does Aerohive bring to the table that's unique?
Simplicity, that you do not have to set up your own PKI infrastructure, you don't have a separate appliance. Like I said, just one checkbox, it's already enabled. So and that's unique.
So your advantage is on the management side, not on the client side.
On the client side, we do have, there's one less step required for the onboarding versus other vendors, so an automatic redirect. But yeah, the biggest thing is indeed how it's managed and how it's integrated into Hive Manager.
But do we have any idea of what the pricing is going to look like, since it's not a feature, it's a product, right?
We do have that, and we would be happy to share it with you privately. But it is not, when you're comparing it to other solutions, which you may or may not be exposed to this week with Wireless Field Day, you will find that, as usual, Aerohive offers this at a much, much less expensive price than other potential vendors may offer this at.
Very PC.
So cheaper than your partners like AirWatch and stuff like that, because
we don't want to undersell our partners. So our partners have a whole different focus, right? Like if you're looking at what our partners at AirWatch and Jamf do, they are really focused on what we call data at rest on that device. The security of the device itself, the applications that are on it, ebooks, actually pushing, being able to delete just corporate email as they're leaving, so the containerization of information. So we're not even trying to go down that path at all. What we're trying to solve is, number one, the onboarding problem, because especially, we're very, very strong in the SLED market, K through 12. These guys get 1,500 iPads that show up on a pallet, and they go, how am I going to get these all ready to go before school starts? So simplifying the onboarding process and then collecting information about what's on those devices so that we can make the network work better. Things like being able to react to, is there BitTorrent on it? Is there a BitTorrent client out there? Can we somehow react to that or block BitTorrent at the network level? So for that piece of it, that's really where our focus is. So even with our own sales team, if people start to talk to us about how they want to containerize the email or push apps out to devices, VPP licensing, we'll immediately talk to our partners at AirWatch and Jamf. Does that distinction make sense?
Yep.
I have one other question about that kind of piece of it. And I know that you're pushing down individual profiles here to the device to do certain configuration parameters. That's a pretty standard iOS mechanism for doing that, which will probably change a lot in 7. But I know that also people like AirWatch and that are also doing that similar sort of thing with pushing down their own profiles, pushing down their own controls, and installing their own applications to do some of the management for their devices. Are there any conflicts there between what they're doing in registering a device and what you're doing in registering the device with this?
Well, and that is actually something that you end up having to deal with any vendor that's going to offer a solution that installs a profile on the device, is that only one vendor's profile can be installed on that device at a time. So currently, you must choose whether or not you care more about the onboarding and the networking piece of this, or whether or not you want the full security suite that our partners can offer with their profile. Either way, Aerohive comes in and makes sure that profile stays installed on the device. So we have that capability regardless of the solution that you choose. But the collecting information and getting it onboarded with the single SSID, switching between PEEP and TLS, that's part of our solution. And then the security, pushing out apps and things would come with the partnership we have with our MDM partners.
Okay.